Hi, I'm Nate Wakeford, your masculinity and mindset coach. Today I'm going to be talking about the role of archetypes in the development of masculine frame. Now, you may have heard of a framework that's known as lover, warrior, magician, and king. And that relates to an overlap with the stages of development, or one of the ways that you could perceive stages of development of a man. When a boy is in his innocence, he's in the lover. He's in the exploration of his environment, and he sees beauty in things. And he's, from a innocent naivety, he doesn't yet know the adversities of life. He's cared for, he is in a place of comfort. This is obviously in an ideal setting. And so love is his primary perspective of the world. Now, as the boy grows up into a teen, he will come into the warrior. And the warrior is when the boy now seeks to prove himself. He seeks to earn the respect of the people around him. He seeks a worthy challenge in life. And so he begins to go after his ambitions, to build himself physically, to meet the feminine, to pursue and engage the feminine. And this represents him discovering his capacity, his capabilities in life, and to also develop his competencies, his skills and abilities. Now, from this stage, the man then goes into the magician. So through that process of engaging in the external world, in pursuing his ambitions and things like that, he may discover that there's some things that he doesn't know. He may learn that he doesn't have all the resources and abilities that he thought he had. And so he begins to look within, and this is the archetype of the magician. He learns that he needs to begin to develop himself internally, emotionally, in his mindset. He begins to look within and healing his wounds, childhood traumas, experiences, things like that. And he learns that by resolving challenges and traumas within himself, he unlocks new potential. He unlocks greater capacity and abilities to influence his world. From that place, he then moves into the king. Now, the king is about having his kingdom, his domain. It's about providing for the people that he cares about. And from that perspective, it's about honoring himself, having found his divine connection within, and he then shares that with the people around him. He is diplomatic. He's able to bring order to chaos. He's already established himself in his path, his purpose, and he also begins to share his wisdom with others to help them along the path as well. And so this archetypal framework is something that's tremendously valuable. So it's worthwhile considering these archetypes and reading books on these archetypes, because archetypes provide a structure for interpreting your environment and interpreting your reality and making changes to optimize your experience depending on the phase of life that you're in, and also seeing where you might be strong and where you might be weak. My natural tendency is towards that of a magician. I do a lot of subconscious work, a lot of transformational change, past life healing and early childhood trauma healing, things like that. And so this is my natural tendency as a magician archetype. Now, there have been times when I was more in my warrior archetype, when I was fighting in the national championships in Taekwondo in Australia, when I was, learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and learning how to cultivate a greater sense of safety for myself. There's also been times when I've been a lover, and also in those periods, discovering what brought me joy. And for me, having grown up on a farm, I really appreciated the beauty of animals and wildlife. I understood and appreciated the beauty of nature. I appreciated the beauty of dance and expression. So these things, elements that I discovered early in life that continued later in life. And now I'm beginning to increasingly come into my kingship. And so that means that, I've bought land here in Tulum. I'm building my legacy project, a Thrive Village community. It's a 18-hectare estate where I'm creating an intentional environment that provides the optimal conditions for thriving. So that's my path and my purpose right now, and beginning to create an environment which could support family and include not just my own, but also my extended family and people that have similar values or on a similar path in life. So you might reflect and consider the stages of your life that you've been through. Is there any particular archetype that you feel less developed in, and how would you go about cultivating that within? So do you need to develop your lover archetype? Do you need to develop your warrior or your king or your magician? Like I mentioned before, you would go to develop yourself, become more holistic and round, because it's helpful to have access to all of these attributes, to all of these different archetypes, so that you know how to appreciate and love both family, pets, things like that. That's where the love archetype thrives, is in feeling and emotions and connection. And finding your passions, finding out what it is that really makes you feel alive and happy and fulfilled. And then in the warrior, developing yourself in your physical capabilities, taking up martial arts, learning how self-defense, learning how to protect yourself and others, learning how to be very disciplined and focused and consistent in right action. These are all paths of the warrior. And the magician, beginning your subconscious healing journey, healing and resolving childhood and subconscious traumas, looking within, finding out what your values are, what you stand for in life. That's all inner work. And then coming into a king. And that's really learning how to honor yourself and honor others, learning how to maintain a divine connection, nurturing your relationship with God, and learning to be a pillar or an example for your family, for your community, through honorable and noble behavior and through service. So I hope this helps give you some insights into how these different archetypes can be interwoven such that you become a more well-rounded man that develops himself to become extraordinary, and who can truly create life on his terms in a very powerful and intentional way for his highest well-being and for those around him. That's how you become a remarkable man. So I hope this has been useful. Thanks so much for watching. If you wish to learn more about my rite of passage, then you can join the Sovereign Brotherhood community. And if you'd like my support, I also offer one-to-one coaching. The details are all in the captions below this video. Thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.